What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. We are sitting at about $453 right now, 46 cents. At the very edge, my friends, of this phenomenal move that's about to come. But before we get into that, let's talk about the more immediate stuff. It does look like we could move lower. It's very possible, and this puts us in a very precarious kind of situation to move lower even than this low. If we move lower from here, if today were to close red, and I'll show you what I mean. We take the relative high here to the relative low, and you can see that what we've done is we found resistance at the 382 once here, and then another time here. We found resistance twice at the 382. The first time, that's okay, right? 382 resistance down to your 236, that's normal. The expectation on this move would be 382, 236, 618, but we didn't do that, did we? We found 382, 236 back to the 382, closed right at it, and now we're rejecting again, or at least it looks like it. So what I would like to see today, and yesterday being a holiday, could have been the reason why we didn't move too much. We only moved down 1%. It could have been the reason why. What I would like to see today is to come back up a little bit. It doesn't have to be a green day, but I wouldn't want us to reach down to the 236. If we go back to 438, it's possible that we could bounce off of that area again, right? We could bounce off that area again. It's very possible. And then the next time we go to the 382, it's very likely we break it. But the more interactions we have with the 236, the more likely we are to go lower. We break this 236 line, we're likely going to go below this low. If we go below that low, I mean, the next target would be all the way, I mean, that'd be at 330 bucks, man. I don't want to go back below $400. I don't know about you guys, but that's not what I want to do. I want to see Bitcoin Cash continue to strive and move up higher. So what would really be nice to see today would be a green day. Beyond all other measures, the RSI, if we close today red, would be rejecting the 40 in what seems to be a very bearish kind of circumstance right now, being that you've broken out of this upward trend, you've freshly broken out of it. So that could definitely stir some trouble up for Bitcoin Cash in the short term if we don't turn green today or in the short term. It's okay. It is okay if we move down to the 236 as long as we hold it and bounce. It's not ideal, but it's okay. It's not okay if we get a day to close below the 236. We do that, the odds of us closing or at least getting a day below $389 would be pretty high. And I mean, the next areas of support at a minimum would be like 370, potentially as low as 345, or even lower down around 320, 330. So avoid all of that. Hold the $438 level. Don't even get near it. Just close today green, man. If we can get above $471, we can close above there. That would be nice. That'd be very indicative that we're moving back up above 500. Getting above 530 would be really nice. And then once we're above $605, that's when we know it's time to really progress higher and see new cycle highs, right? Moving up to that $1,100, $1,300, $1,700 area that we're looking for, right? At least $1,000, but 1,300 is the real minimum that we want to see, right? By the end of January here. And I do suspect that we'll move higher. If we look at the relative low on a weekly basis, actually, let's go to the 3-day basis first. 3-day basis, we had somewhat of a nice week or a nice 3-day period over the last 3 days here. Not a lot of volume came in, but that's okay. You know, we are at the base of this consolidation phase here. Lack of volume is kind of the proper definition for being at the end of consolidation phase, lack of volume. So that could mean that we're breaking out soon, and I would expect to the upside, not to the downside, but I would assume either by the end of this 3-day period or the next, or at least one of the next, right? Probably within the next 8 days, we will have picked a side, breaking out up or down. I think it's going to be to the upside, but I would assume soon, within the next week and a half, we would have picked a side. If we look at the 3-day RSI, it's actually in a pretty bullish posturing itself. I like that you've got these higher lows. I like that what you're doing right now potentially is finding support at a previous area of support here, which is also an area that you found support at before. And if we go back in time here, you found support a little bit higher, but still somewhat in this area. You found some support right here at this exact area. Resistance here, resistance, support a little bit above it, right? And a little bit of support here, kind of in an area it's a little bit below where we are at, where we're at now, but in this area, we find support throughout Bitcoin Cash's history on this 3-day time frame. So it'd be nice if we could do it here. If we break out of this, again, like the daily time frame, it seems that we've broken out of this uptrend recently. If we were to combine that with breaking out of the 3-day uptrend, and if we were to continue to move down, you guys, that could really spell some trouble. And I would think personally, if Bitcoin Cash If Bitcoin Cash were to go lower than this low, I would think the rest of the market might have the risk of going lower as well. Not because Bitcoin Cash is the Mac Daddy and it dictates the rest of the market, but Bitcoin Cash is a very viable option. It's one of the top dogs. It's been in the top like 30 coins, top 20 coins for most of its life. If something like this were to go down, I would assume that there would be some other top projects, and if other top projects are going down too, the rest of the market would probably go down. That would just, we'd have to rethink our overall outlook over the coming month. But I don't think that's going to happen. Again, as long as we can hold above, ideally $438, that won't happen on a daily basis, on a closing basis. But I really have a feeling that over the next 9 days, we're going to get the heading that we're looking for. I think it is going to be to the upside, but if not, again, over the next 9 days, we'll have a better look at this, I think. If we look at the weekly now, looking at the weekly RSI, it just looks better and better as we zoom out. The weekly RSI really does look like it's bullishly positioned. I like these higher lows, higher highs. It's phenomenal. We cooled way the hell off. Where you found support right here literally is at previous areas of resistance here, previous areas of support right here, previous areas of resistance, support, going all the way back to the Great Gap itself for support. It's a phenomenal area. And then we take this relative low here to the relative high, and you can see that you literally found support just above the golden ratio, which in itself is a very bullish thing as well. That means that there was so much buying pressure down at the golden zone, there was so much attention on it that it got front ran. There's not enough selling pressure, there's too much buying pressure, whatever you want to say. It couldn't reach the golden ratio, but it got close. That's actually a really bullish thing. So complete that. Beyond holding $438 as support, beyond trying to close, I think, what was it, $441 to the upside? Is that what we want? Or no, 471, I think. If we could get a week to close above 462, that to me would really start to solidify this as a low, closing a week above 462. If we can get a week to close above 524, that wouldn't just really solidify it, that would absolutely solidify this is the low and solidify that we're probably moving up higher. So the real goals right now are to not close any given day below $438, okay? Things can be fine even if that happens, but ideally we don't see that. We might have, you might hear a different tone coming out of my mouth if we start closing days below $438. If we start closing days above $462, you're going to hear the exact same tone that's been out of my mouth this whole past like 3 week, 4 week, 5 month period. We're moving up, right? When we close above $523, that's whenever the tone changes again, but to a more bullish effect and screaming in your face that we're going to be at $1,000, $1,300, $1,900 in a very, very short amount of time, right? But I think I've given you guys all the outlooks that I can, right? The month or the weekly outlook here, I really do like, because not only are you bullishly postured with your higher lows and higher highs, but also bouncing right here off the 50 area, an area that you've continued to find support on throughout this cycle. I think that it would be really good. Even here, where you had these very insignificant kind of bounces that didn't amount to something more grand, even here on these moves, you still saw candles, that were 18% up 1 week, 13% the next week, with more carrying on throughout that week. You were below the green line here, and the green line was sloped to the downside. Now you're above the green line. The green line sloped upwards. If we were to see an 18% week this week, that would put us all the way up to 528. What was the target that we're looking for? Was it 523? 529? Was it? I think it was this high to low. I'm sorry, high to low here. No, which one? Oh, no, I remember now. I'm sorry, guys. I remember. There's so many fibs, man. So many ways to draw fibs. High to, or low to high. That's what we did. Yeah, 523, 524. So even if we saw something of a standard bounce for what we saw back here during this boring phase where we didn't actually see an expansive move, based off the same area that we're at where we found support time and time again here, even if we did that, it would likely solidify us that this is the low and that we are ready to move up higher as well. So, and again, of course, we're in different circumstances here now than we were back here, right? That's all I'm trying to say. So I've got nothing else to say. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Bitcoin Cash undoubtedly is going to move up from here, unless we close below $438, right? The 4-hour time frame, I must admit, looks like it wants to go down a little bit. And don't be scared if we go down. We can go to 438. We can even go a little bit below 438 and still be fine as long as we're not closing days below there, right? That's the idea. But we do have higher highs in the RSI and higher highs in the price. You're just moving higher without gaining volume, which is not good. So you probably likely do go lower. I would guess you go down to, let's just see. I mean, man, maybe you make a run all the way down to 420. 420. I mean, you could make a move down to $405 and still close today back up above 438. I don't know. Don't be scared if we go below 438, but just, you know, ideally we don't want to close too much below there, if at all, on any given daily basis. But I don't know if we do. I don't know if we will. Time will tell. We'll see how it goes. It'd be really nice if today could close green. That would be really nice, right? Regardless of where it closes, it'd be nice if today could close green, because then we are not rejecting this 40 zone. We're breaking through it. But if we close today red, it looks like we're rejecting the zone. We likely would go to the oversold zone, and that would scare me, because even if we close today here at 453, closing it red like this would make me think that we do close below 438. And then closing below there would make me think we go lower than here, right? So hopefully we can avoid all that. Anyways, guys, I've said everything I need to say. Hit the like button. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.